It's your hostess with the mostest and your brother from another mother that truly ain't got no other. This AB.Marley. How you doing, guys?
And it's your girl Nivaeyah, the sister from another M.I.N.D.S.E.T, because you know Papa was a Rolling Stone.
Since today is Mindset Mondays, we're going to get into how to deal with issues with the mind. So, like for an example, when we're going through our everyday trials, how are we able to handle and take care of those situations at hand?
AB, I'm pretty sure that you had some issues that you needed to handle.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much had a lot of issues that were going on. One of the things that I mainly had to deal with in my everyday life is I'm always self-reflecting on things that I do. And because I always look down upon myself, that reflection destroyed my mindset. So basically, everything I ever did never really actually ended up working out because I never believed in myself that I could. And because of those problems, I was stuck in a cycle for many years. But the way I dealt with it was, I came to myself, I looked in the mirror, and I said, you gotta do this. There are things in your life that you can still do no matter how old you get. And if you wait too long, you're gonna be like people that you dislike in your earlier ages, and that's the one goal that you don't want for yourself. That's how I was able to deal with it. How about yourself?
I personally had some issues, especially, growing up in my teen years and coming into adulthood. Mental stability is very, very important, and I had to learn that the only way you can really get through things is that you, one, have to believe in yourself.
So, when I explained how I was going through my everyday life and how I deal with my trials, so I was going to ask, you over here, how did you deal with your mental issues growing up?
One of the big problems that I had, especially growing up, is that I'm short. Can't hide it. Look, he's giant. I'm like an itty-bitty person. I used to always get made fun of a lot about that. And another thing is that, I'm adopted, and a lot of people would kind of either do a pity thing for me because they found out that I was adopted. It's like, oh, your parents don't want you or this or that, and in a way it kind of made me felt like I wasn't good enough. But at the same time, I had to learn and I had to be proud of who I am, and
Always do. That's the best part of the quality of growing up.
Exactly. Because at that, I could have given up. I could have, not wanted to do anything. But at the same time, because I have such a strong will, because I have such great mind power, it kept me going. And
so, for example, when you were going through your situations where you felt like there was an obstacle in your way, you were a burden to somebody or a waste of space, where there was moments where would you retreat back into yourself? Would you stop communicating with people? Would you stop doing the normal functions that you do just to deal with that alone for quite some time?
Especially when it comes to dealing with things like that, especially if you ever feel like you are never good enough for anyone, you will, kind of go inside of yourself, try to be alone, or or push people away, whether it's intentional or not. And, the one thing that I learned to do was, instead of me always trying to be, to myself and be a loner, was that I started surrounding myself with other people that were being positive. I started getting myself involved with activities, I hung out with friends more, but...
With that being said, actually, what she's basically stating, it's when you surround yourself with people with positive reinforcements and energies, you can be able to do better for yourself because you don't want to be the downer in the group of people that you hang out with. When you hang out with a group of people that are always negative, that think the worst parts of themselves, never really getting out of that situation and remaining the same, eventually, for some of us, we actually walk away from that because we're like, I'm tired of feeling this way. I'm tired of looking this way. I'm tired of being in the same space. It's time for me to grow and go. Some of us don't do it, some of us don't. But regardless of what happens, you got to make the decision on what you want to do with the rest of your life.
Yeah, definitely.
Peace be with you on that one, for real.
Definitely, yeah. It's once again, it goes all back to your mindset. In order for you to do anything and to be better, you never want to be in the present and look at yourself in the past and be like, man, I had it better then than I do now. That should never be the case. It should definitely be a reverse effect. If anything, you should look at yourself now and be like, oh, I'm better now than I was then, you know?
Exactly. And that's how you can always continue to improve. I mean, that's the best way to show.
Definitely.
But that's why I said when I self-reflect a lot of the years of my life, I look at past situations and go like, you know, at that time I didn't know how to do that, you know, but now I do know. I've experienced it. I know the emotional trial that it comes with. So I'll know how to deal with it when the first early stages or the signs show up that I'm starting to doubt myself, or I feel sad, or my depression kicks in. It's like, oh, I know what's going on. Okay, I know how to deal with this. Let me make sure to take care of that before it gets any worse than where it's already at. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. I mean, the number one thing is that do not isolate yourself.
No, don't ever.
I can tell you firsthand that all I do is think. I think all the time. Whether it's good, bad, it doesn't matter. You know, overthinking, you know, thinking too hard sometimes, that can also cause unwanted issues, unnecessary issues, you know, and it's just like, you want to be able to
grow out of it. I mean, here's an example I can throw at you. So, like, for myself, whenever I would go through an emotional moment, I would disappear. People wouldn't see me for it. It used to be, what, a couple days, then it extended to...
He ain't lying.
to weeks, months, and then years. And before I knew it, I'm like, dang, 5 years went by. Or what happened? What you been on? What you been up to? You know, I've been dealing with all this stuff. Ooh, after bam.
Yeah.
And I wasted so much of my years just staying in the thought process. I never really moved forward with myself and making sure the people that have been in my life, who have been my ride or die, like my homegirl over here, you know, could catch up and be like, hey, shit's going on, things are happening, and I hope you're doing well. If not, talk to me about it. I'd rather you tell me the truth than lie to me about it and stay in that same space all the time. It's not healthy for you at all. It never really is. And it's only going to get, I would say, worse, but you can only go nowhere but down. If you're at the bottom and you stay at the bottom, what are you doing? Grab a fucking ladder and move your ass up there.
I heard that, man.
If
you all the way down, you can only go up from there. You can't go further down if you're down. The only place you can go is up.
Look, let me say it like this. If you was my friend and I know you was down in the slumps, I will be ruthless as hell. I will kick your ass up that ladder. If you don't move your behind and get this money and moving, we're going to be stuck for the rest of our life. And I am not taking care of you as an old person. I need to know that you can take care of yourself. And then you can, once you know, I know you can take care of yourself, then I feel like our friendship can even grow further because I see what you do for yourself and you can treat me the same way. Doesn't mean that we have to be in a relationship in that sense, but starting off as a great friend and genuinely seeing both the good and bad within them, you know the signs of when they're going through their worst. And you can always be the one that say, hey, whoop, I see that, hey, we ain't doing all that, what's going on?
Yeah.
Talk about it. Get it off your chest. I'd rather speak about it into existence and acknowledge it and then hear a different perspective than to consecutively keep it in my mind where all those years I was like out of it, I could have got a simple answer from it.
Yeah, definitely. You know, especially when it comes to mental health, you definitely want to try to do whatever you can to be positive.
Right.
Just because things are bad at that moment in time does not mean that they will be bad forever. Doesn't mean that it's going to stay that way. You know, if you have to be positive, you have to find any kind of light there is that you can in a dark time. Because of the simple fact, you also have to understand that if you don't go through dark times, if you don't go through failures, if you don't go through anything, you won't learn and you won't be able to prevail, to be able to get over those things mentally.
And you're going to sit there and lie to yourself and say that you are perfection, that nothing in this world is better than you, and you're living a full lie. I'm not saying that's for every single person, but there are some of us out there who literally think to ourselves, I don't need to learn any more than what I have right now. I'm perfect the way I am. And you stop yourself. And then you wonder why these new things happen.
Definitely. And part, to just go on what Marley said, you know, part of dealing with your mental health is identifying issues that you have within yourself. If you can't identify problems that you have going on in your life, then you already lost. Because in order for you to move forward, you got to deal with yourself first. It's like being in a relationship. You can't be in a relationship with someone if you don't love yourself. Because you're always going to be looking to that person to make you happy. If you can't find happiness within yourself, then you can't.
What the hell are you doing with somebody else? I'm sorry to say that. I can't understand it. When you're miserable and you're in a situationship or a relationship, that becomes so toxic. I guess the best example I can give is when I see people that I care about, and I've even had those problems myself, where my insecurities come out of me, I am not healthy, and I think that the person that I'm with is doing something they have no business doing. And I'm checking everything and everyone and all this, and you know what ends up happening? The only reason why it ends up being true because the way I was acting towards that person. They're in a relationship with me, so it's not like they don't see the things that I do on an everyday basis. They just choose to ignore it. And then when it arises to now being portrayed onto them, and they're dealing with it when they get home, and they're already trying to do with their stuff at work and other stuff that they got going on, it's just like I'm just ready to check out, and I don't want to be a part of this anymore. And then they end up leaving. Some of them do, the cheating thing, and to me personally, that's not cool. But in order for you to understand what you have, you gotta go through a little bit of something to understand. Like, oh shit, I really did that.
To add on to that, also, besides identifying the problem, you also have to make sure that you don't settle. Do not settle. Don't settle. Because if you're settling, that means that you do not understand your own self-worth.
Yep. See, the difference, knowing your self-worth is knowing what you're willing to go through.
Definitely. Yeah.
So, like, for example, I have pet peeves that I have when it comes to the organization of the way the household works. I do things differently than somebody else. And let me say, like, washing dishes. When I wash dishes, I'm in the mood. I'm trying to get all this stuff done. Some days I'll take a whole day to do it just because it's a little easier for me. And I like to let my dishes soak. But there are some other people that are going like, no, I need that in and out, throw it in the dishwasher. I'm just gonna clean it that way. I'm not gonna scrub it the way you want to. But the realization of it is the job still gets done. It's just not in the way that you want it. And because it's not flowing with your fantasy, it falls flat in the face. I mean, what else I gotta tell you about that?
Definitely.
So how are we dealing with our problems on an everyday basis? How are we going to take care of it on a mental level? What are we going through psychologically, basically? And there are always going to be ways that you're going to be able to take care of it. One of the few things that we like to do is we like to acknowledge its existence, surround ourselves with positive reinforcements, making sure that the things that happen when we start to see the first signs is that we're able to deal with it, and making sure that we express it to other people so those that we care about can see the actual problems that are going on, so that they are able to help us out in the time of need when we refuse to acknowledge it for ourselves, and vice versa. Everything.
Yeah, definitely. In order for you to overcome anything mentally, you have to have a positive mindset. You have to find something that keeps you going. That's the only way you're going to get better. That's the only way your mental health will be stable. If you surround yourself with negativity, if you only think negative, if you don't surround yourself with like-minded people like you're always going to be in a never-ending cycle of, why isn't this going this way? How come I can't do this?
Think each time and expecting a different result. That is the definition of insanity. And yes, I am crazy at times, and people can be crazy too. But I'm not going to sit here and become insane by repeating the same things every single day. There are things I got to change up in order for me to move forward with myself and be proud of what I'm doing. Acknowledge what you did in your past. Know that it was some things that you did not know and you made a mistake, and you move forward with it. That's all you can do. And the best part of the quality is, if you want to get better, you're going to have to start putting into the work. People who work out on an everyday basis cannot actually have the fit body that they want on day one. It takes months. And the only way they do that is that they were determined to do something like that. You guys stay tuned for the next Monday for next letter, which will be I, and we're going to go into involving ourselves. You guys have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you guys later. Thank you for showing up on the show and showing some love. I appreciate you. Much love, girl. All right, y'all.
Peace.
AB. from another mother. AB.Marley.
He ain't even about that life. He don't even rap.
He made his head was his home.
And when he died, all he left was his home.
I can't with you.